I also started and played and beat Lisa the Joyful.
Okay. Interesting.
I have like relatively complex thoughts about it.
Okay.
I think that its own story about Buddy is really, really strong. And it is also like an incredibly direct response to the events of Lisa the Painful.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a lot of people do a lot of crazy things in the Joyful.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like eminently reasonable that they would act in that manner. No matter how insane they may appear, you go, well, yeah, that makes sense though.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I cannot possibly blame someone for acting in this way.
This is so the Lisa. Okay, so it's been a while, so a lot of the details are fuzzy, but I remember the broad strokes. Yeah. And what I remember is the character arcs in the full trilogy, or what I mean, whatever, barely the first one. But whatever. Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, also, like, there's a lot of stuff where Dingaling literally goes, "Yeah, I was a dumb edgelord being edgy."
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
Straight and
you can see that.
Yeah, and he goes, "Yeah, I wish I wasn't so edgy about some of the stuff." Even answering questions about the Painful, he was like, "Yeah, I was being edgy.
Doing shit just to do it.
Wish I could have wrote that with more nuance, later on." So I'm like, interesting to, even hearing that after the fact. But with the broad strokes, what I recall is this is definitely a setting where you're looking at everyone going, "Yep, here are the dominoes. Here are the dominoes that lead to these outcomes, and everyone who's making these fucked up decisions and actions are doing so." Basically, like on the backs of a giant trauma domino piece that knocked them in their direction, and it's a little bit. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know much about Fear and Hunger 2 at all, but Fear and Hunger has a little bit of this too, where the creator was like doing an edgy thing, being younger, and then it evolved into something more than
Fear
that.
and Hunger 2 is there's a lot more craft.
Yeah.
Even from the little that I watched Paige play of it, they spent a lot more time putting the pieces together.
But there's so little nuance, to a lot of what's going on in the first game. And in the case of Lisa, I feel like the Joyful, like as a DLC continuation of that story, you can see there's like, oh, we can improve, we can do a bit better, we can write a bit better, we can make things stronger. Mm-hmm.
The gameplay is really weird. It is a really fascinating switch up.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the Painful, you are drowning in like dozens of party members, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are disposable, and their disposability is thematic. In Lisa the Joyful, you don't have nothing. It's just you, and that works as a really, really,
that is
really,
also
really,
thematic,
really strong thematic kick.
Very thematic, yeah.
And I think it works out. I think it's overall really solid. I think it's pretty simple, but it's also very short. I feel like it's kind of like its existence is fine. It's good, and I'm glad to have played it, and I like what it was doing. I think that its existence harms the Painful's ending more than it is good.
Interesting.
I think Lisa the Painful's ending is fucking perfect.
Interesting.
Perfect.
Okay.
And anything that comes after that kind of steals some of its thunder. And the additions are good. Like Lisa the Joyful is really good. But I miss the ambiguity and the terror and the awfulness of Lisa the Painful's ending. And I actually lament that I didn't get that ending back before Lisa the Joyful even existed. Because there would have been a point in time in which the Painful's ending was definitively, well, you don't know.
Okay. So this is interesting because again, it's going back some time, so I'm not remembering everything, but I do remember feeling like for me, I had the exact opposite feeling. I had a feeling where after playing the Joyful, I thought, oh, this is a great closer to the story, to the journey that went through the Painful, and I liked the
So
the epilogue, and I thought that it was a stronger finish. Now the question, I guess, is like, what endings did you get? You know, how did yours play out? And this is going to have to go into some detail.
Painful, I took joy. I took a lot of joy.
I took 0.
Yeah,
I took 0 joy in the painful.
It's hard,
right?
So I took drugs.
Yeah, I you know, and so that was one thing. I also. I mean, again, so spoilers for Lisa if you're listening to this and you don't want to get spoiled on things. I remember choosing to lose an arm instead.
I lost all my arms and all my boys.
Okay.
I chose every possible harm Brad option.
Yeah, okay,
instead
right.
of harm anyone else.
Harm anyone else, yeah. Don't you dare harm Buddy, right?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, right? I remember that. And a lot of that was kind of like, to me, I remember that as well was something where you're like, yeah, this is the way that not only is it like something where you're like, I don't want to in-game lose my shit or whatever, right? Like your party members, all these things, etc.
Right.
Life, but there's also the part where you're like, this guy,
I'll take all your items or kill your boys.
Yeah,
here's my items.
And based on what we know about Brad, guess who would be willing to punish himself that hard?
Yeah.
Right? Given the circumstances of what we're talking about with his past. And I think that leans into those choices a bit. And then you kind of wonder the whole time, what kind of person is Buddy going to be? And I kind of felt like
you find out.
You find and it makes sense. I remember being like,
it's a direct result of the unavoidable reality that she lives in.
That's it. I remember looking at that going, oh, if you're going to do a Children of Men / Why the Last Man type scenario, and then you have to like actually play it out to this chosen one, what type of person would they become in this kind of setting? And, you know, kind of crazy warlord shit aside, you're like, this is somebody who would absolutely fucking hate the idea of, I was just trying to protect you. I was just trying to keep you safe. I will fucking kill you if you say those words to me. You know?
So one of the things that I kind of expected us to split lines on this is that as I'm getting older, my tolerance for uncertainty and ambiguity is increasing dramatically. And Lisa is kind of a perfect example of this, because like there's super bosses I could fight and alternate paths I could go on and little Easter eggs I could find where, and you know, chat tells you about it as you're going through something like this about what is joy? How did it happen? And it's like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck what joy actually is. It doesn't matter. All that matters is Brad and Buddy's relationship with joy.
And I would say as well, in the same effect too, like Brad and the relationship with like Marty and all that shit that's the point. And when you start to get those details about like Buddy's actual past and the fucking,
I actively don't care about that.
So it's there, and it's like it's nowhere. It's not the point, but it's also something where you're like, oh, there's just, you know, when you can have like just raw evil, and then you just kind of have like this unnuanced like Satan for Satan's sake in a way. You're looking at these situations where the people that come in with like Buddy's past and everything, where you're like, oh, there's no ambiguity to this. These are just people that are like, again, just the extreme ends of the slider with fuck the dominoes. You don't even have to describe a domino that knocked these people into where they are. And I think there's stuff you can discover in either the painful or in the joyful, I forget, about like Buddy's mom and stuff, where it's just like,
if you play in painful mode in the painful, you can find Buddy's mom.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
I don't care.
So
I actively
because the relationship,
don't want to encounter it even.
Yeah, the relationship between these two is what matters, right?
Almost like running into Yado in the joyful.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about this dude.
For me it was like, okay, cool to know that's there, but like, well, just again, Hardy, fuck you, and all that, and the trumpet shit and everything, you know. And there, you know, the bit of like where he's like chilling out with the trumpet and everything is like a little just weird thematic thing that continues. That's like nicely done. But yeah, what matters is this relationship. And hey, guess what? Jesus, Joel, it's for the exact same reasons.
Thing again.
For the exact same reasons.
People arguing for like hours about the viability of a vaccine in Last of Us. I'm like, that the fucking
it's Joel and
vaccine
Ellie.
doesn't have shit to do with that story
It's Joel and
at all.
Ellie. That's all that matters. Yep. So I'm curious now, with basically I think it's like the three big choices, right? In Joyful are...
I only had two, but as somebody in the chat points out, we actually played different versions of the game because I played them quite late, and so I played the definitive versions, which changed parts of the game.
Okay, so I don't know what those changes are, but...
I also don't know what changes are.
Okay, what was Buddy's, in your playthrough, what was Buddy's relationship with Rando?
Positive and then highly not positive.
Trust and then reveal.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do about it after?
I mean, I trusted until I could trust no longer.
Okay. And there was no extra after? Okay. Basically, there's a... Yeah.
There was a very definitive ending to that story.
Okay. Because essentially, you can get like a third afterwards, what's going on, after that trust moment occurs. That is like another super fucking crazy, thing that goes into your endings. But okay, and then the ending you got was...
I didn't take any joy. Sorry, I did take the drugs.
Yeah. What was your what happened with Buddy? Let me just see there because I'm curious. Because okay, yeah, you got that. Okay, you got that ending.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
But yeah. No. All in all, it's very strong. I really like it. I kind of wish I lived in a world in which Lisa the Joyful didn't exist at all, and it was just the painful.
Yeah. I just disagree. But I knowing that the relationship between Buddy and Brad is the focal point there. This as an epilogue to the story and like developing Buddy more and sort of showing some of her agency. I didn't feel it detracted in that way. I know what you mean though, but like I enjoyed seeing that growth and seeing the fact that it's like, this is not who you were hoping she would become, but you have to acknowledge that it makes sense that she became this person.
Okay, so here's how I feel about... Here's a movie adaptation way of explaining how I feel about Lisa the Joyful. So I'm watching The Thing, and at the end, McCready and Giles are about to torch each other in the cold. And you don't know if either of them or both of them or one of them is the Thing. And they just say, I guess we'll just wait it out. And then the movie just ends and leaves you going, I don't fucking know.
Well,
and then the sequel to The Thing comes out. And it's, hey, it was McCready was the Thing and Giles is the new main character. And the movie's really, really excellent. But all the ambiguity of the first movie is now gone.
I will say the difference, I guess, for me there is that I don't know how John Carpenter feels about it, but like we feel that The Thing is a fucking perfect film.
Yeah. So whereas, that happened. The situation I'm describing actually did literally occur.
No, I remember
with the video game.
The game exactly. And you get answers where you're not supposed to get them.
And the answer is neither of them were the Thing.
And then we also get the fucking. And we end up, we talk about the Sopranos ending every time we go into this conversation. But the difference to me, I guess, in perspective here is that Lisa the Painful is not the Thing because like the Thing is fucking perfect, and Lisa the Painful to me is flawed. And by the creator's own words, there's things where he's like, yeah, I wish I didn't do that. And I'm like, I can see that. I can understand that. In the same way that like talking about the flaws of Fear and Hunger 1, while ultimately I'm like, this is a cool game. This is a cool thing. But there's flaws here where I can understand the creator wanting to add more, to elaborate on, and to, perhaps build out some scaffolding to support some of the weaker parts of what was happening in the main entry, you know. I also think that the painful could have been a really full long thing that like they could have made the mistake of stretching it out too long, but they didn't.
I gotta say, Lisa, both games completely fucked on me. It's
you're on Kudo terms now, aren't you? You're on full fucking like you've been using that
with how long to beat. And you know, when you look up like I don't know if you do this, but what I'll do is I'll look up like game I'm playing full playthrough, and then I'll skim until the spot that I'm at, and then I will see how long is left on the bar as like a fucking like okay, I'm 60%, right? How long to beat can't be trusted with Lisa the Painful and Lisa the Joyful, and neither can the in-game fucking clock.
I'm imagining the branches are wildly variant.
Well, it also doesn't accommodate for the times you fall off cliffs. And game overs against bosses. Right? It took me like twice as long to beat the Painful.
Yeah, that game's not
said it would.
Yeah, that game's willing to let you just fucking die. Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot there were like 2 or I think maybe 3 streams where I just threw up my hands and went, okay, stream's over, because I fell off a cliff after like a 45-minute sequence with no saves. I was just like, no, not doing it. Fuck it.